Hi, let's take a look at the Playdate, state of Playdate in 2024. I'm celebrating my first year anniversary with Playdate in the spring of 2024 when I record this, and it's been around now for 2 years, so it's celebrating its launch as well, and 2 years in market. So this has meant new stats coming out from the company Panic, who makes it, um, some interviews, lots of love around the Playdate and the tech news and stuff. So that's great that there's still a buzz around this amazing little device. I'm very biased. I'm a Playdate fanboy. I'm going to say it. But today I'm going to look through the hardware, the software, the community, and take a little look ahead at what might be fun coming up and coming down the pipe. And just generally giving you my impressions after a year of playing with it quite a lot and reviewing the games and stuff. So I have used it a great deal, and has it stood up? Has the hardware stood up well? Am I bored of it? I'm kind of a bit faddish. I like new gadgets, and then the kind of novelty wears off, doesn't it? And it just becomes either a dust gatherer or it becomes part of your kind of entertainment life. And I'm glad to say that a year in, I still really use this thing a lot. I love it. It's really good fun. I did have a break for a bit. There was a little spell when I wasn't reviewing or really downloading games. It was a bit of a dry spell as far as I was concerned, or maybe I just exhausted what I liked. So I had a little break, but I came back to it, and I'm very glad I did. And I think it's going to be a really exciting year for the Playdate and its gaming community. So right now, the company are telling us they have sold 70,000 units, which translates to 180,000 games. 150,000 games sold, sorry, which is about $500,000 worth of revenue for Panic, which they're not big numbers in the scheme of the huge behemoths of tech companies, throwing billions around the place and 100 million units, this, that, and the other. But that's a really nice number, and it's certainly enough to build a very, very robust community around it. And indeed, the staff were all saying we were really surprised. It's amazing how people have adopted it as developers and just gamers, and how just everyone's embraced this thing so well. Okay, from their game capture software called Mirror, which has been the whole reason I set up this channel, because it made it so easy, and I've always wanted to review games, and this made it just simple, and I'm thankful for that because I don't have time to get into complicated stuff. So this is cool. It's all simple and playful and accessible, which are pretty much the brand values I see here. And I've enjoyed reviewing a whole bunch of games. I think I've done 45 now on the screen. I've obviously played a lot more, but it's been a blast this past year. The hardware itself has worn incredibly well. It's hard enduring plastic. The accessory you can buy with it additionally was the purple cover. You can also get like a kind of aqua green now, which is quite snazzy. And that cover has taken quite a battering. It's been in the bag, it's been in the pocket, it's been in bars, it's been, traveling everywhere and anywhere. And it hasn't got a mark on it, just has not been besmirched even slightly. It's absolutely pristine. So Apple, take note. The device itself looks great, no shine on the buttons. I think the D-pad might be getting a little bit sticky, but it could almost be my imagination. It's that slight, but I've just kind of noticed that the other day. But the buttons look great, everything looks good. The handle, which is made of metal, the crank, has a little patina on it. It's worn, it's got a little darker in places, the metal's changed sort of colours. And I think I saw a comment online with someone going on about that, like moaning about it, but I really like it. I think it's cool. It just works well. And I'm the sort of person that has a fit if my keycaps on my laptop have a slight shine. I'm quite quite particular about such things. But on the handle, it looks good, and those metal accents have really aged well. The speaker grill, the screws, everything looks really, really nice. It all works as you would hope after a year of quite hard play. I think this will last pretty much forever. Don't know about the battery. Pretty sure you might be able to change that out should the time come. In terms of the battery, I have not noticed any dip in longevity. I haven't done any proper benchmarks or anything of that nature, but I just haven't noticed it, which is just what you want, isn't it, really, as a game player? And I am playing it quite a lot and taking it everywhere, sometimes playing it all day. So the battery's still absolutely stellar. And of course, to help that is the fact that it's not a backlit screen, which if I ever see comments that I'm moaning about, or if there's a critical element to this, a lot of people are like, please put a back screen on this. And I'm okay with it. It's fine. If you can read a book, you can play the Playdate. That's kind of how I look at it. There has been a half a dozen times when I'm, lying in bed or just on a dark coach or something like that, where I thought, oh, this would be great if it was just a bit backlit. I could play it now. But it's okay. It's not the worst thing in the world. And as it stands, the screen's fantastic. The lighting doesn't have to be ridiculous like the Game Boy used to be. It's very sharp, and everything looks good. Everything works well. So the hardware, I mean, what can I say? It's just a 9 out of 10, isn't it? It does everything you need it to do. I've mentioned on a few of the videos that the speaker's fantastic, and I've actually pulled sound from it, connecting it to my home stereo, and some of the sound that comes out of this thing is really, really quite surprising, delightful. So I recommend you get some nice headphones, or just some decent headphones, and play some games that way, because it kicks it out there. It sounds good, it looks good, battery's good, wear and tear is, I can't see any wear and tear on it at all, no scuffs, no finger marks, and as I say, I'm not that particularly careful with it. I bought it at $170, it's $200 now. Sorry, I bought it at $180, $200 now. And in terms of quality of the actual device itself, the physical device, then that you pay for what you get. I think it's really standing up to a lot of punishment at times. Okay, so that's the hardware. That's getting a 9 out of 10, because I'll score this at the end for fun. Software, gosh, well, they told us that they've sold 150,000 units, which is I wasn't sure, like, are they pleased with that? What was the company's expectations? But according to GamerBiz, I'll link below, they were really surprised and delighted. They were just like, oh goodness, this is fantastic. And it looks like they'll be supporting it for quite a good while to come. The software model was pretty unique when it came out the gate, and made some news that the Season 1 pass, as they call it, came free with the hardware. So you would get 24 free games which would be downloaded to your device on a weekly basis. You don't know what you're getting. They could come in any order. And for me, that was just such fun, so unique. A little bit reminding me of the Wii when that first started doing it, and you'd see that blue light. With the Playdate, it's a purple light, and it's like, ooh, something's downloaded. And you might like it. You might not like it. It might irritate you, or it might be just a new favorite. But it's fun just to give it half an hour at the very least, and it's great to try out new software you haven't tried before. Panic have a kind of curation policy of putting games on their app store, which is called the Catalog. So you've got the season pass, you've got those 24 games, and they have an app store called Catalog, which is available on the device, which is brilliant, and online, of course. All works so well. Payments are fine, everything's quick, everything downloads. The file system, there's no such thing as a perfect file system. I'm scrolling through a ton of games and stuff. It doesn't matter, it's fine. You can get past it. It's a bit of a chore now that I have a lot of games on there. But it's doing good, and the catalogue is curated by the people at Panic, and it's a tiny team. There's like 25 people there or something crazy like that. So kudos to the team for getting this to market, keeping it going, keeping everyone happy. It can't be easy, but it's very much appreciated by this gamer anyway, and I think the media really like it a lot. Everyone loves it. People were cynical about the crank at first, like, oh, is this a gimmick? But a year in, I think the crank's wonderful. If it's used well, it's a genuinely interesting and fun way to input movement into games. It adds new gameplay, it adds new bits and pieces. It sometimes is left alone, and that's fine. I mean, for example, when you buy a game from their catalogue, and the games can be anywhere from like $2, $1, even $2, $3, up to, I've seen 12. That's, keep it below 10, everyone, please, come on. When you're buying a game, you have to crank the sort of buy meter up, and it goes, and then you've bought it. It's like, da-da. I've never had so much fun buying something, giving someone my money before. It's really quite cute. So it's full of little UI and UX touches that just make it really nice to interact with. It is a toy. It's a fiddly toy, and it's great for that. One thing that hasn't aged at all, and that I appreciate with it, and sorry, this is a hardware thing really, is how small it is. How small it is. It's just, at first you're like, oh my goodness, it really is small. But the screen does an amazing job, as long as there isn't too much on the screen. And I have a good few games that people rave about that I'm like, I can't read it, I can't see it. It's like, it's not fun to play. Naming no names. But yeah, it's so small and portable, so it goes everywhere with me. The Switch doesn't, the Switch Lite doesn't, but this does. And unlike the Game Boy Micro, I can play this thing for hours and be completely comfortable, which is testament to its design, ergonomic skills. The Game Boy Micro in 20 minutes, and I'm like, ouch. So I love that. And that means for the software that there's lots of different game styles using the crank. Just it's very confining in many ways, 2 face buttons and a D-pad for the other inputs. So retro games work well, puzzle games work well, all sorts of different games work well that don't involve 2 analog sticks. So if you're a massive fan of photorealistic AAA massive games, then this won't be for you. If that's all you play, you won't enjoy it very much. But for everyone else, you'll love it. Because the games are controlled by physical buttons, the gameplay is always better than on a touch screen like a phone. It's small enough so you can just forget about it in your pocket, unlike any other gaming device I can think of. And it's just chock full of games. It has 4 gigabytes of onboard memory, which is a little tight maybe, but it's okay. I'm half full now. I think I've done a game purge, 1 game purge. I might have to do another. But they stick around online, so you can get them back if you wish. Anyway, I'm half full after a year of, liberally downloading pretty much any title that's taken my fancy just to see if I could review it. So the software is awesome. So they have 181 titles on their catalog system. So that's pretty good, and they're all decently made, quality games. And then the other big part of this is the itch.io community, the Playdate one. That's got 800 games on there now, and it's really fun to peruse. It should, through crowd dynamics, have the best games at the top, that kind of thing. And it's just really fun watching what people do. An individual can make a game now. A young person coming into coding can make a decent game. If you're a skilled coder working at a big agency or a big shop, then this would be a nice side project just to finish a thing, just to fiddle around with or experiment with. There's tons of experiments on here. Some of them work, some of them don't. I applaud them all. But there's also some great new stuff on here, just cool things that people have obviously put their heart and soul into. So it's a fantastic community. So you have that, and then another part of this is you can make your own games for it really easily. You have Lua, which I think is a C-based language. I'm not familiar, but you have a good coding environment for if you want to make professional games or more robust games. But then you have Pulp, which is a browser-based game creation system Panic have put in place. You can go and do it right now. You don't have to pay for it. You do need to know coding logic a bit, but it's great. I've been trying to make games for years and I'm appalling. I'm just not good at it. The math doesn't work in my head. It's just not how my brain works. But with this, I had a 4-screen game, quote unquote, up and running, and I was so happy, and I got it onto my game device. It was on my Playdate, and I'm like, I've never done this before. This is fantastic. I'll have to review that game. It'll be the worst reviewed game on the channel, but I might do it for fun. But I was so delighted with this, and if I really put some mind into it, maybe I could get something pretty good running. There's some amazing Pulp titles out there. People are making the winning awards within the community, and are just fantastic. So you can make your own stuff, guys, which is really cool, really cool, really simple, and you can get it on the device. Getting games on and off, whether it's from the catalog or from the itch store, is dead simple. Panic have made it really easy to sideload onto it, nothing to be afraid of. You just drag it in there and off you go, you're good to go. And just generally the whole unit and the whole purchasing funnel, I want to say, which is awful, but from discovering games to purchasing and playing it's pretty seamless. It's really nice. It's not too overwhelming. 1,000 games now, that's enough to enjoy having a look through without being completely bamboozled by the choice. And then of course they have this mirror app which you download onto your desktop, and then you can plug in your Playdate and it will mirror onto your laptop, which is how I do all my videos, and it's why I do all my videos. I was like, oh, finally I can do a channel. This is cool. But also you could probably do other interesting things with that. So the software, look, what can I say? It's just been an amazing couple of years for this device. I love a lot of the games. They have all the classics, they have new stuff, they have quirky stuff. It reminds me a lot of the early days of the Spectrum and the, I suppose, the Commodore. Early coding days in the UK in the 80s, where just anyone with some skill could just make something and sell it. And as a result of that, you got some really odd stuff, but it was much more fun and experimental and interesting. So I applaud all of this. I love how they're supporting this kind of ease of use and transparency. It's fantastic. So that's the software. Now, let's take a little look at the year ahead. There's lots of software coming down the way. People are looking forward to a game called Comet, which looks like a kind of RPG adventure puzzle game. Top down, looks really good. It looks like they've got the backgrounds cleaner for this as well, so it isn't too busy. You see games on the mirror system, or when people are developing these games, it's bigger. Like on YouTube, it's much bigger. So when you play it on the device, it's far smaller and sharper. So the games you might see on my channel, say even P Racing, you'd be like, oh, it's a bit chunky. But when it's down on the screen, it's like, oh, looks really good. It looks really good. But I think you have to be very careful with backgrounds and details, because it's not a big screen and it's very easy to get lost in just muddle and too much stuff. I don't play those big RPG games that are on here because it's just too much text. It would just be, it's not good for me. Not my jam. Might be yours. Anyway, so Comet's looking good. We've got Robot Rally is coming. That looks pretty dope. You've got Mars After Midnight's just dropped, as I believe the kids have it. All sorts coming. There's just oodles of good stuff. In terms of accessories, they've been talking about this dock since day one, this kind of banana yellow matching dock where you can put your Playdate in the front, so it acts as a kind of electric alarm clock kind of vibe. Which looks really good. It comes with a pen, so I guess it's a desk accessory or maybe something for your bedside table. And they've sort of admitted, like, this has been just such a pain to make. It's really hard. Sorry, it's on its way. So if you've been looking forward to that, I'm imagining they would get that down this year. Maybe they'll do a few more covers for it, but I like the purple and yellow. It's become very sort of iconic of the brand to me. I'll buy a dark blue one, maybe. But the thing is, they've made them too good, haven't they? So it's lasting very well. Bravo, Panic Team. So I don't know what else is coming down with accessories. There's been some homebrew efforts to attach a mechanical keyboard to the thing, which I would love because I've got mechanical keyboards. So this with a little word text editing thing would be quite good fun. Pointless, really, but I don't know. I'd like to see it. I would certainly buy it for a couple of dollars. And that's it. You know, in terms of software, I've got everything I want on here. Tetris, crosswords. I've got, you know, a good chess game. Oodles of games I need to finish. There's a Boulder Dash clone now called Superplex, which I've just reviewed. It's great. Love it. You know, if they stop making games now, I'd be happy. I would have still a year or so's worth of play with this for sure. So well done, everyone. Good effort. Looking forward, what I would love to see, I'd love to see a top-down 1942 game, just a basic shooter done in portrait mode, please, which will use the same setup as Played Upon, the puzzle game. They use the sort of A and B buttons, and it works really, really well. So yeah, I'd like to see 1942 on here, or something very like that. No gimmicks, nothing, just a shooter. That would be fab. And I'd also love to see more Spectrum games. I'm biased, massive Spectrum fanboy from back in the day, but my whistle was wetted when I saw One Bit Jetpack, which I reviewed really early on this channel. And I was just like, oh my God, it looks great on this screen. And I played most of my Spectrum games on a black and white TV, so it's kind of cool for me. Maybe I'm just alone. I wrote to the Ant Attack guy saying, would you get it on here? I can't remember if he replied or not. Terrible of me. I think he's just busy. Attic Attack would be wonderful on here. Can Night Law run on this? I don't know. I'm figuring I should be able to. But anyway, I'd love to see that stuff come on board here, that would make my day. It would be great. But otherwise, I'm just happy to see what comes along. The pricing's good, so it's always worthwhile taking a punt on something that looks just a bit interesting, because it might become your favorite. There's a few that are reviewed that I just almost chose at random, like the art style, whatever, and they've been great. They've been absolutely fantastic, well polished games, and people are in the habit of saying, look, this is a demo or whatever. No one's trying to con anyone on the itch store. It's all very transparent. It's like, oh, here's the thing I'm trying, have a go, it's got that kind of vibe. Everyone's very supportive. It's a really welcoming system in itself, just hardware wise. It's a very welcoming games library, and I think it's a very welcoming community. So I think anyone could be invited into this area and just feel good, and get on with the business of games and the playing of games and chatting about games and making videos like this, just connecting with people that like your hobby. It's great. So anyway, that's the Playdate 2024 and my view on it. If you don't have one, I would highly recommend you get one. If you just like toys, gadgets, gaming stuff, you want to start maybe doing a little coding, you just want to play some old retro games, fancy a tiny Pac-Man in your pocket, you have it, it's good for that. Even if you just like chess on it, it's still cool. So it's an infinite little thing. And what I do like about it going forward, just to close, is with the tight restrictions of the hardware, its screen, and the processing power of the thing, the novelty of the crank, of course, adds a new dimension, which I think is really critical to it. But the whole thing's quite timeless. I can't imagine a Playdate 2. Maybe it would have a backlit screen, whatever. But really, it's like this is still going to be like this in 5 years' time, restricted and weird and cool. So it's not going to date badly. That's my prediction. And yeah, good luck to the team. It's been brilliant. I've had such fun with it. And I think you should go and get one if you don't. If you do, enjoy the channel. I'll be doing more games reviews. It's a hobby thing, so it's not professional really, but I think I'm like most gamers really, who play it as a hobby and a passion. So hopefully you'll get some sense of what kind of games you like from this channel. That's really the idea. Or agree or disagree with scores and things like that. Feel free to comment. I'm always happy to chat on. So that's it. Happy gaming, everyone.